UFC 320, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2 just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight. We are going to go through every single fight on this card. Of course, the main event, Alex Pereira knocks out Magomed Ankalaev to regain the light heavyweight title, which is absolutely insane. Co-main event, we have Merab Dvalishvili versus Cory Sandhagen. Featured fight on the card, we have Procházka versus Khalil Rountree. And that doesn't even, I mean, the rest of the card actually was really solid. We had Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal. And we had Abus Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer. The main card of UFC 320 really turned out super exciting. And they were all fights that actually mattered in the organization. We're going to break it all down. If you guys enjoy these post-fight videos, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's start off with the very first fight of the night. We have Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Veronica Hardy, first round, almost subbed her at the end of the first round with an armbar. Outstruck her, outgrappled her. Got reversed at the end, but then almost got an armbar. Second round, more of the same from Veronica Hardy. Then the third round, Brogan Walker had some moments, was able to implement some of her grappling. I think it was the third round that Brogan Walker got. But overall, just super low-level women's MMA fight that really didn't matter all that much. And honestly, I was higher on Veronica Hardy than I probably should have been, even though I wasn't that high on her. Brogan Walker was taking her down. Brogan Walker was reversing position multiple times on the ground in this fight. I know Walker is primarily a grappler, but still, I thought Hardy was much better. I thought Brogan Walker would lose a street fight. And she's going life and death with Veronica Hardy. That's insane to me. So Veronica Hardy gets it done via decision. I believe it was 29-28 decision with Brogan Walker getting the third round. But I don't actually 100% remember. But yeah, Veronica Hardy gets it done via decision. Next fight on the card, we have Ramiz Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. I knew this fight was 50-50. I talked about it in my prediction video. And Ramiz Brahimaj gets it done via second round guillotine. First round, Vanderford's landing on the feet. He's mixing in the grappling. He controlled him for a large portion of the first round. And then the second round, Brahimaj comes out. He clearly loses the first round. He comes out. He starts sprinting at him. He's throwing haymakers. Vanderford's getting clipped up. He's backing up. Boom, nasty head kick from Brahimaj that drops him. And basically that was the end of it. I mean, it didn't actually end right there because this was early in the round. Obviously, you know, if you look at the stoppage time here, it was 2:24. But from that moment on, Vanderford was done. And essentially he was shooting in on takedowns. He was getting stuffed. And then at one moment, I think he got a takedown, but Brahimaj scrambled back up and Vanderford was in on a double leg. And Brahimaj started smashing elbows to the side of the head. Vanderford just goes down on all fours. He's clearly hurt from the elbows, the Travis Brown elbows as I like to call them. And then Brahimaj latches up a guillotine and subs Vanderford. So Brahimaj gets it done, man. Really, you know, it was a performance. A lot of people were counting him out. I knew he could win this fight. It's crazy. Literally everyone picked Vanderford. Yeah, 71% picked Vanderford. Now he's on a decent win streak. And really it was just, you know, the grappling of Vanderford was really doing its job early in this fight. But once he got clipped up on the feet, he just couldn't recover from, I mean, it was a nasty head kick that landed. And from there, that was the beginning of the end. Brahimaj gets it done via second round guillotine. Next fight on the card, we have Chris Gutierrez versus Farid Basharat. Farid Basharat dominated the first two rounds, outstruck him, outgrappled him, was shooting through him. I mean, takedowns were perfectly timed. Hit him with a big right hand in the second round that rocked him and then swarmed him afterwards. But in the third round, he gassed out. He ended up getting taken down by Gutierrez, and then he was able to reverse it at one point. And he was getting touched up on the feet by Gutierrez in the third round. And then at one point, Basharat scrambled out from bottom, ended up getting a takedown, getting reversed, ending up on bottom again. Gutierrez was looking for a guillotine at one point. And Gutierrez clearly won the third round because Farid Basharat was just tired. He was just exhausted. And Gutierrez did a lot of damage, a decent amount of damage. He was clearly looking for the finish. He clearly knew that he was down 2 rounds. But he just wasn't able to get it. Farid Basharat was, I say he's tired, but he wasn't like completely gassed out where like the finish was there. But he was definitely underperforming in the third round. And Gutierrez was trying to be urgent. He just wasn't able to find any kill shots. Like on top, he really didn't find any crazy ground to pound. On the feet, he found some decent shots. But ultimately, Farid Basharat was able to survive and win a 29-28 decision win. Next fight on the card, we have Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos. Yana Santos wins a unanimous decision. I believe it was rounds 1 and 2. It had to be rounds 1 and 2. And essentially, Santos just outstruck her. You know, to be honest, I'm looking at Chiasson. She's kind of a weight bully. She's coming down from 145. She's a lesbian. I thought she was a shoo-in to win this fight. Santos outstruck her, landed some elbows, landed a front kick, I believe it was in the second round. Third round, Santos started to get tired. She got taken down. She got out-grappled. Towards the end of the round, almost got rear naked choked, but she was able to survive. It was really on the chin, and Santos just relaxed. Chiasson at the end of the fight was like going around like, yeah, I won. Yeah, hell yeah, brother. She clearly lost 29-28. Second round was kind of close. First round was clearly Santos, but I thought Santos won the first 2 rounds. Chiasson was able to come back late, but you won 1 round. You didn't get to finish. So, yeah, I mean, Chiasson, she's now 10-5 in MMA. Santos has been around forever. What does this fight really mean? I don't think it means all that much. I wonder, it's damn near 5 o'clock in the morning. It's 10 p.m. in Vegas or 7 p.m. in Vegas, whatever the line from Dana is. I don't know if anyone's clicking on my UFC 320 post-fight to watch my breakdown of Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos. The intricate breakdown. I mean, Santos was landing front kicks and bloodying up. This was actually a good fight. It was a good women's MMA fight. I actually missed it and had to go back and rewatch it. It was a decent fight. Yana Santos gets it done via decision. Next fight on the card, we have Punahele Soriano versus Nikolai Veretennikov. Damn, Nikolai Veretennikov is a scrub, man. Essentially, he pulled guillotine all fight and just got beat up on bottom. I've erased this fight from my memory. I don't even remember it that much. Punahele Soriano did okay on the feet. Veretennikov had some moments, but then whenever Soriano crashed in, it's like Veretennikov would go for a guillotine. He got close, kind of close a couple times, but not really. Not really. And Punahele Soriano was beating him up on the ground. Veretennikov looked horrible. He does not belong in the organization. I know everyone knew Soriano would win this fight. I mean, let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, it was basically him just out-grappling him. I mean, look at this. I don't believe in stats at all, but 5 strikes in round 3. That seems about right. Got dominated in the third. I think he had some moments in the second on the feet, but Punahele Soriano dominated this fight basically from start to finish and gets it done over Nikolai Veretennikov. Good win for Soriano, not. Anyway, up the card. First regular prelim. We have Edmund Shahbazyan versus André Muniz. I mean, what is there to say about this? What is there to say about this? First round TKO from André Muniz, or from Edmund Shahbazyan, I'm sorry. Muniz was throwing some kicks early. Wasn't really having a whole lot of success. He looked for some takedowns, shot in on some takedowns. Wasn't able to find the takedowns. And then I'm trying to remember the exact finish. Why is the exact finish escaping me right now? Let me see if I have some notes on this one. Why is the exact finish escaping me? Oh, it was the late finish. It was a late finish. I mean, Shahbazyan was essentially tagging him on the feet. There was a double leg takedown from Muniz, but Shahbazyan scrambled right back up. And they clipped each other. Yes, they simultaneously clipped each other with punches. And then Muniz basically fell. Really effeminate cucky vibes. And then Shahbazyan just starts smashing him out with elbows. I don't know how I forgot that. Just starts smashing him out with elbows. It was a late stoppage. Mark Smith got in there late. Should have been stopped away earlier. Horribly late stoppage. I just need to jog my memory for a second. Yeah, I mean, Shahbazyan gets it done. He gets it done via first round. Muniz isn't that good, though. At one point, people were talking about him as a middleweight contender. I simply just don't believe he's that good. Shahbazyan's been around forever. A decent win here. I really thought when he was looking for the finish, I thought if Muniz somehow, I mean, it was a KO. As soon as he went down, I was like, okay, he's getting done. But I was thinking, while he's throwing this brutal ground and pound, I was like, if Muniz somehow survives, Shahbazyan's going to get gassed out and he's going to lose. That's just kind of the history of what Shahbazyan has done in the past. We've seen him get out grappled and gas out and get out grappled, and his takedown defense hold up early, but he's able to get the first round KO, brutal KO, late stoppage by Mark Smith. Good win on Edmund Shahbazyan. Next fight on the card, Patchy Mix versus Jakub Wikłacz. I don't know how the hell you pronounce his name. Apparently his name is Jakub. Patchy Mix loses a split decision. I don't agree with it. Wikłacz, or Jakub, whatever the hell his name is, Jakub Wikłacz, won the first round. Was smashing body kicks. He got taken down, but it really was him looking for the guillotines over and over and over again throughout this fight. He was able to scramble back up using butterfly guard, looked for another guillotine, ended up on top and mount at the end of the first round and did some damage there. Clear first round for Jakub. After that, the second round I thought was pretty clear. I mean, Mix got a takedown, got control. It was Jakub looking for a guillotine again. On the feet, both guys were landing, but Mix landed a couple good elbows and more damaging shots. There was a low blow that grazed Patchy Mix's cup, and then the ref said, no, it's not a low blow, even though it clearly grazed the cup. But the second round, essentially Patchy Mix had one takedown, had a little bit of control, and also landed the more damaging shots on the feet. And then the third round, essentially similar thing. I mean, Mix got another takedown, Jakub looking for a guillotine, got shaken off. Like Patchy Mix would address the guillotine by immediately going to side control on the takedown. But then I think in the middle of the second, there were so many guillotine attempts from Jakub. But in the second and third, he got guillotines and he like jumped guard and wrapped his legs around him. And Patchy Mix would like shake him off. And third round, I thought it was pretty clear Patchy Mix. I mean, Patchy Mix took the back late, did some ground and pound. And I thought Patchy Mix won the second and third. I thought it should have been 29-28. I knew going to scorecards, I said, they're somehow going to fuck this up. And let me make no mistake about it. Even though I thought Patchy Mix won and it was a robbery, they both look. I mean, Patchy Mix looked like shit, man. He looked like shit. He was in PFL. He was in Bellator. He's KOing Sergio Pettis. He's getting decent wins. He came to the UFC and absolutely shit the bed against Mario Batista. And then look what he's doing against a debutante. He's losing a split decision against a debutante. So really underwhelming performance. Even the fact that it was borderline close that they could fuck it up is a real bad look for Patchy Mix. I think he's getting cut from the organization. And he didn't look good even when he was grappling. And on the ground, he couldn't do nothing to Jakub. Jakub was just using butterfly guard. The only time Patchy Mix was able to do anything was when Jakub started to slow down. They both started to get tired in the second and third. And I think that's what attributed Mix's success, call it what you will, in the grappling in the third, where he was able to get the back. But really, if Jakub never attempts any guillotines, I don't know if Patchy Mix ever gets him down. So Patchy Mix loses. He was smelling shit again when he was getting tagged with body kicks and punches. And I think he's probably going to get cut from the I got a sneaking suspicion Patchy Mix is being cut from the organization after this performance. They tried to give him a win here against a guy who's primarily a grappler coming out of another organization. And Patchy Mix loses. Even though I do feel bad for him because it was a robbery, but no one's going to care because it wasn't a great performance. But I do care. It's a slippery slope. We can't start justifying robberies. Anyway, next fight on the card. We have Daniel Santos versus Jiří Yu. Back and forth first round. Both guys landing, but Santos landing the better shots. Jiří Yu starts taunting after he's getting clipped up with shots. He's having some moments of his own. Gets taken down. Taunts on the ground as well. Gets back up. They both start throwing. Santos lands better shots. Second round, Santos comes out, spams a bunch of takedowns, lands a massive right hand that drops him, and then he slumps him out with ground and pound in doggy-style position. Basically, Daniel Santos was laying in the position that DDP laid in the entire fight against Khamzat Chimaev, but he was out cold kissing the canvas. So Daniel Santos gets it done. Second round KO. Sorry, I almost said first round KO. First round was competitive. I had it for Santos. And Jiří Yu, it's like he's taunting instead of trying to make sure he lands shots. And didn't he miss weight? I know it was a catch weight, but I can't remember who actually missed weight. Santos looked kind of small for the weight class. And I know it's not actually a weight class. It was basically lightweight. But Santos gets it done. Great win against a guy who's a real flashy striker, and he was able to kind of neutralize it and land the better shots the entire fight. So Daniel Santos gets it done. Second round KO. Brutal KO, by the way. Next fight on the card, the featured prelim. Do we even talk about this? Ateba Gautier versus Tre'ston Vines. I got to take a drink before I talk about this one. I'm so tired. I'm so dead tired right now, boys. Shame on the UFC. Shame on the commission. Tre'ston Vines came out and ran for his fucking life. It was humiliating, man. He ran for his life. He did not belong in there. They picked this dude off the streets. Dana White walked into a Wingstop and found this dude and said, hey, you want to fight in the UFC? You want to make 10K? You want to make 10 grand, buddy? Vines ran for his life, finally shot in on a sloppy, ugly takedown, got kneed into oblivion, got up, ran for his life some more, shot in on another desperation takedown. This time he got in on it a little bit. Pushed Gauthier up against the fence. Gauthier lands some Travis Brown elbows to the side of the head and then just peels him off in the most effeminate, cucky vibe sequence I have ever seen in my life from a fighter. Tre'ston Vines should change his name. He should cut his hair. He should shave his facial hair. He should get a bunch of tattoos, primarily on his face. I would be so humiliated. And there's no shame in losing to Gauthier, but Vines clearly didn't belong in there. And I blame the UFC, but I also blame the commission. There's no way this should have been booked. This fight was booked last minute. Let me actually go see what this guy's 10-4. 10-4, and he's been KO'd 4 times. I mean, this is crazy. He beat Ethan Hughes in his last fight. Imagine beating up Ethan Hughes. This was really bad, but the way he peeled him off and then just slumped him badly with brutal ground and pound. It was filthy, man. It really was filthy. It was a brutal KO, and it was a humiliating performance from Tre'ston Vines. I don't care what anyone. Never show his face again. Cut him from the organization. His family's probably going to disown him. His kids are going to be embarrassed if he has any. How old is he, actually? Let me take a look at how old he is. 29 years old. That shit was bad, man. His boys are never going to let him live that down. It was really bad. It was ran for his life only to get finished brutally anyway in the most effeminate, cucky way vibes possible. Anyway, Gauthier gets it done. Book him with Strickland next. Give him a big fight. I think Gauthier smokes Strickland. I would love to see that. Gauthier, very interesting prospect in the middleweight division, but this win means absolutely nothing because it's a dog shit win. Anyway, next fight on the card. First fight on the main card, we have Abus Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer. I'm so glad I didn't pick Abus. I said, guys, look, Abus could win, but I'm not picking him because of cardio. I am not picking him because of cardio. Pyfer comes out, grapples immediately, gets ragdolled, scrambles out, gets ragdolled back down. Abus lands some ground and pound, scissors him at one point, pause, looks for a Kimura. Pyfer was able to scramble out, and then Abus lands a nasty straight right, snaps Pyfer's head back. Abus clearly wins the first round. But I'm looking at Abus towards the end of the first round. I'm like, is he already getting tired? This bum has one fucking round of cardio. Second round, Abus is already exhausted as soon as the round starts. Gets hit with 2 right hands. Ends up going down. Joe Pyfer goes on top of him. Starts looking for the arm triangle. And then essentially he's completely gassed at this point. He tries to scramble out to end up on top, like trying to shake Pyfer off the top. He's completely gassed out, and Pyfer just locks in a rear naked choke, which was really a neck crank, an exhausted neck crank that he just tapped out. Joe Pyfer gets it done. Second round, rear naked choke, which was really a neck crank. Abus should be ashamed of himself. I know people are going to say, Joey, who are you to talk about someone? What kind of shape is he in? At this point, I'm convinced that he has some type of actual medical condition that his lungs don't work, because he would be maybe the champion, damn near, if he actually had cardio. He smokes Joe Pyfer if he actually has cardio. He's a better grappler and the better striker. Joe Pyfer said, yeah, the plan wasn't even to grapple, but he was fast early and he was throwing lots of kicks and whatnot. What an absolute flop by Abus to have no cardio over and over and over again and just have no answers for it. I'm convinced, there was rumors about Zabit having some medical condition. That's why his cardio wasn't that great, and that's why he retired. Abus has to have that same. I'm making an excuse for him already. But Joe Pyfer gets it done. Quality win, his best win of his career. It doesn't mean all that much just because of Abus's cardio, but Joe Pyfer should earn a top 15 fight in his next fight, and I would love to see it. He gets it done. He weathers some adversity as well. He dealt with the first round. He got ragdolled in the first round. Got, controlled and beat up in the first round. But he came back in the second round and was able to get the finish. Next fight on the card, we have Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal. Easy takedown. Took his back with ease. Josh Emmett's trying to scramble out. Zalal starts looking for a triangle, isn't able to get it, switches to armbar, taps out Josh Emmett in 1 minute and 38 seconds. Somebody asked me the other day, if Volk retired and Movsar didn't exist, who would be champion? And you know who I said? I said Youssef Zalal would be champion. Youssef Zalal, he's good everywhere. He's improving. He's still young. Who's done that to Josh Emmett? For the love of God, let me look real quick. Who's done that to Josh Emmett? Yair, I guess. He has 2 losses via sub. 1 in the first round and 1 in the second round. Yeah, so it's Zalal and Yair. Who does that to Josh Emmett? Not a lot of people. I think Zalal is really the complete package at featherweight. Easy takedown against a fresh Josh Emmett who squats low to the ground every time he loads up on a big punch. Zalal gets it done, man. I want to see him in a big fight. He missed the opportunity. He said, give Diego Lopez a title shot. I want Lerone Murphy. Did he get that backwards? Diego Lopez shouldn't get a title shot, and I don't think he's getting a title shot. It's probably Lerone Murphy. It should be Movsar. So he should have called out Diego Lopez, and that'd be a banger fight that I would want to see. That could be a #1 contender fight as well. So I think a little bit of a missed opportunity in the call out. Rogan kind of corrected him. We don't really know what's going on right now, but it's most likely going to be Lerone Murphy next in December. Co-main event, probably Pantoja versus Van. But Zalal gets it done with ease against Josh Emmett. And in a big spot too on a pay-per-view card. So good for Youssef Zalal. Next fight on the card, the featured fight of the night, Jiří Procházka versus Khalil Rountree. I hate to say I told you so, boys. Not that people weren't picking Jiří. Third round KO for Jiří. Perfect prediction. And I thought Khalil would do well early. We're probably going to give Khalil Rountree a little bit of a participation trophy for this one. Again, Mr. Khalil Participation Trophy Rountree Jr. is essentially what it is. Early in the first round, Khalil didn't throw for like the first 2 minutes, but then started throwing and landing as Jiří's kind of throwing flying knees. Every time Jiří would jump for a flying knee, Khalil would just throw a big winging left hand. Khalil winged a bunch of big shots in the first round and landed quite a few of them. Started chopping at the legs a bit. Rountree clearly won the first round. Second round, everyone acted like Khalil definitely won. I would have to go back and rewatch it. Khalil was definitely winning early, but then Jiří started to press hard late, mid-second round. Landed a spinning back elbow that the commentary team didn't acknowledge. Started pumping the jab, started busting up Rountree. It was a close round, but I edged Jiří a little bit in that round. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I have to go back and rewatch it. But even if you gave it to Khalil Rountree, you can go back and watch my stream if you don't believe me. I could tell that Jiří was breaking him in the second round. I could tell Jiří was going to finish him. When I was watching that second round, I said Jiří's going to get him at some point. And third round, Jiří started walking him down. I don't even remember the sequence because Jiří was fighting like a fucking madman. He realized maybe I'm down 2 rounds. And he just started charging forward, landing big shots. Khalil was starting to wilt and back up. Jiří was just teep into the jab with a stabbing teep kick. And that's really what started it. There was a nasty teep kick, and then Khalil kind of backed up. Jiří just charging at him, throwing big shots. Khalil's throwing back, but a lot of them aren't landing. Like it was in the first and second round. I think it was in the first round. He landed a left hand. Jiří was getting wild. Khalil landed a left hand in the first round that spun Jiří around. And there were some big shots throughout the first and second round that Khalil landed that Jiří just ate and kept walking forward and was leading with his chin afterwards. But the third round, Jiří just started walking him down and just beating the dog shit out of him. And Khalil was backing up and trying to get his composure and trying to clinch up. But Jiří's just walking him down, beating the shit out of him. At one point, Khalil clinched and Jiří just shucked him off. And then Jiří got over aggressive and then was kind of leaning down, and Khalil kind of jumped on a guillotine that was never closed, but controlled Jiří for a little bit. And there was moments during these flurries that Khalil would have a moment, maybe land a jab or Jiří would jump. Jiří jumped for multiple flying knees in the third round, and Khalil would immediately throw a big overhand left. But it was just Jiří being super durable and walking Rountree down and beating the shit out of him. And then finally up against the fence, they're clinched up for a second. There was a moment where they were clinched up and then they broke. And I don't know if this was exactly the ending sequence that I'm talking about here. Jiří actually, within all the madness and with all the chaos, starts ripping to the body, man. I knew Khalil was done. I knew he was getting melted. And then finally, the finishing sequence, they were kind of clinched. Jiří's just beating him up. And then, boom, picture perfect left hand just slumps out Khalil Rountree like a sack of potatoes. It was absolutely filthy. And allegedly, all the judges had the first 2 rounds for Khalil. So Jiří pulling it out of the fire yet again. I mean, Jiří will be losing and losing and losing, and somehow he wins. Look at the Rockage fight. So Rountree might sing another song about this. He might put it on his Instagram singing another song. But damn, man, this was a great performance from Jiří. This is a vintage Jiří performance. And I know he took damage, but Jiří may be the most exciting fighter on the entire UFC roster. He's a little bit in a weird spot now, depending on what Pereira does now that he's the champ after the main event. But hell of a win from Jiří Procházka. Insane that he just breaks guys. I mean, imagine had he not got him out of there in the 3rd round. If this was a 5-round fight, he's getting him out of there at some point. And he doesn't tire out. And he just, once he realized Khalil wasn't as dangerous, and he realized Khalil was starting to wilt, and Khalil was thinking about writing a song about why is Jiří so damn strong, Jiří just never let him off the hook, not once. Just pressured in his face, swinging nonstop. Even when Jiří would get clipped, go right back to it. There was moments where they were, I'm trying to remember all the sequences because a lot happened in the 3rd round. There's moments where they're kind of in a clinch, and Khalil actually landed a good elbow that looked like it might have stunned Jiří a little bit. Jiří comes back and starts smashing his fucking face with elbows too. And man, Khalil just couldn't get him off him. Just could not get him off him. Jiří was in his face, bashing his face in with nasty shots, elbows, nasty teep kicks to the body, like stabbing hard teep kicks to the body. And then eventually found, like, you could just tell Khalil just couldn't keep his hands up anymore, and Jiří just slumped him out cold up against the fence. Nasty win from Jiří Procházka. I don't know where he goes from here. I guess if Pereira vacates, you could do Jiří versus Ulberg for the vacant title. The UFC would probably do that. And that may very well be what happens, because who wants to see a Pereira-Jiří trilogy? I don't. I think it would be crazy, and Jiří kind of got screwed by getting that short notice fight. But I don't think that. I think it's a tough sell for the UFC. But who knows? They got a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount. And, you know, that's a headline. That's a good headliner. So for them, at least name value. But yeah, Jiří Procházka gets it done. 3rd round KO. Perfect pick. This is exactly what I saw happen in this fight. So I'll tout this pick till the end of time. Anyway, next fight on the card. We have the co-main event. We have Merab Dvalishvili versus Cory Sandhagen. Only round that was close was the 1st round. Even the 1st round, I thought Merab maybe could have edged the 1st round. Like, I'd have to watch it back. Cory was punching out a lot of air. Like, I'm even looking at these stats. I don't believe this for one fucking second. That was 58 shots. I don't believe that. Merab was able to get a takedown when he wanted it, tripped him down, and landed a couple shots underneath the armpit that a commentary team didn't talk about. Merab ate some leg kicks and a couple jabs, but Cory was missing a lot and punching the air. But Cory could have got the 1st round. He may have very well got the 1st round. After that, it was all Merab. Merab fucked him up in the 2nd round. 10-8 2nd round, dropped him against the fence, and just walking him down, beating the dog shit out of him. Could have finished him. I thought he flash KO'd him. And then he just kind of went into grappling at that point. Like, he hurt him bad, tried to finish him, then kind of went in grappling mode, was like tripping him down and ragdolling him. And then eventually ended up getting back to the striking a bit, and Merab was landing there. 3rd and 4th round, 3rd round in particular, Cory missed everything. And they were acting, oh, well, Cory's having a better round. Merab was tagging him on the feet, easily taking him down. Sandhagen would do the same thing every time he gets taken down. He would get to his knees, build his base, get to the fence, fight the grip, turn into Merab. But Merab, when he wanted to, he could just keep taking him down. I think Merab could have took him down 150 times. And if he just solely committed to the grappling, but he wanted to strike clearly. 4th round, Cory had a little bit more success, landed one good punch. I think Merab took the round off. And because he looked like he was slowing down a bit. And I know that's weird to say Merab took the round off because he has unlimited cardio, but he did kind of take the round off. Even though he had multiple takedowns, did some damage. Cory was clinching up a little bit. And then at the end of the 4th round, Merab tripped him after Cory clinched and then started looking for a Darce and was kind of a stalemate. 5th round, same old Merab essentially. A little bit more aggressive. Merab came out a little bit more aggressive, was tagging him on the feet. Make no mistake, Merab outstruck him the majority of this fight. You can say, oh, it was the grappling that set it up. No doubt, but it's MMA. Merab outstruck Cory Sandhagen the majority of this fight and really just dominated him. Really just, worst case scenario, it would have been 49-44 because of 10-8 round. You could even make round 3 a 10-8 round as well. It wasn't as dominant as round 2, but yeah, Merab gets it done. This is what happens when you're giving guys undeserved title shots. They're never going to amount to anything, really. They're not going to be able to get it. I mean, when's the last time we've seen a guy win an undeserved title shot? It's just not happening. Merab Dvalishvili retains his bantamweight title. I'd like to see him fight Mario Batista if he beats Umar. Umar's going to be in the mix if he beats Batista. Petr Yan is in the mix. I really want to see that Merab Umar rematch. I think that's probably the best title fight of the year. So we'll have to see what happens. Merab says he wants to fight in December. Let him fight Petr Yan in December then. Then if Umar or Mario wins in Abu Dhabi later this month, that winner can fight the winner of Merab versus Petr Yan. That would happen in December. So good on Merab for wanting to stay active. Easy win against Sandhagen. Sandhagen's his defensive grappling is really sound, but it's like the commentators were just hyping him up for not getting destroyed on the ground. Cory is better than Sean O'Malley, I'll tell you that much. Sean O'Malley was overrated like crazy. Sandhagen is far superior in every way, in my opinion, outside of maybe power. I think people who were maybe thinking, like, Cory Sandhagen's going to win, man, I got a feeling. They were banking on a 150-year-old flying knee that he landed on Frankie Edgar. They were like, man, he's going to land it. He did throw it a couple times, never really came close to landing it. Late, actually, by the way, I forgot to mention this before we move on to the main event. There was like one punch that Cory landed with like 8 seconds to go, and Merab just backed up, and Rogan and them are screaming, he's hurt, he's hurt. I didn't go back and rewatch it. I think Merab just knew the round was almost over, and he was just kind of chilling. He's done that sometimes, where he like circles at the end of the rounds. So I don't think he actually got hurt there. I had Merab winning at least 2 through 4, maybe round 1 with the Cory Sandhagen, but close. And Merab did whatever he wanted to Cory Sandhagen. So Merab gets it done. Another title defense for Merab Dvalishvili. Next fight on the card, the main event. We had Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2. Alex Pereira gets it done. What is there to say? Alex Pereira gets it done. It didn't last very long. Bit of an early stoppage, but at the same time, I understand it. You know, people are like, Joe, you cope. You cope. There was no ground and pound that really landed. But Magomed Ankalaev wasn't moving. So it was kind of disappointing. Disappointing performance from Ankalaev. But Pereira came out, landed a couple leg kicks. Ankalaev switching stances, gets caught with a nasty right hand. Ankalaev shoots on a very weak takedown, goes to his back, and then just doesn't move, just covers up. And Pereira's throwing ground and pound and then mixing it to the body. The body ground and pound shots landed. But then starts throwing 12-6 elbows on Ankalaev. And even though they're landing all on the forearms, he's not moving. And Herb looked at him at one point and like kind of waved his hands like, go, go, go. And Ankalaev wasn't even looking at him. But maybe he said something too. But then eventually Herb Dean steps in. So super anticlimactic. But Pereira beat the odds here. You know, I don't think necessarily this would happen again in the trilogy. I still think Ankalaev is very good. I think this is Pereira's best win on his resume. And he went through it with no damage. I mean, Ank landed a couple teep kicks. Pereira essentially took no damage in this fight. Well, allegedly he broke his foot on one of the leg kicks, so I guess Ank checked the kick and broke his foot. But yeah, Ankalaev loses. I know a lot of people are going to take solace, be like, Joe, you picked him, you were confident. I mean, this is what the sport. This is what makes the sport fun. This is what makes MMA YouTube fun. You give your opinion. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Good win on Pereira. A bit fluky, a bit fluky. But Pereira fought the way he needed to fight the win. He came out, heavy pressure. Damn, that was loud. Heavy pressure. And I thought that would be his downfall. I thought that was the way he needed to fight to win, but I thought he would get countered and KO'd. But Ankalaev, man, circling, had his back against the fence a lot for 1 minute and 20 seconds. And against Pereira, if you can't go backwards, you can only go left and right and forward, you're more predictable and you're easier to be hit. So Pereira gets it done. I did a full breakdown on this fight. I do believe Pereira will now go up and fight Jon Jones, probably at the White House. So Ank saved you guys from the whole debacle with Tom Aspinall when he beat Pereira at 313. But Pereira planned to call out Jon Jones, but because Jon Jones' brother recently died, which is crazy, he then gave a moment of silence for Jon Jones' brother. Apparently, he already told Dana White he wants to move up to heavyweight. There's really nothing left for him at light heavyweight outside of Carlos Ulberg. I'd love to see the trilogy against Ankalaev. I know people aren't going to like that. But listen, Ankalaev outclassed him. Outclassed him at UFC 313. And I know people are going to say, Pereira, injuries, this and that. Listen, Pereira has injuries every time he wins a fight. Ankalaev came into this fight with a broken leg and torn ACL, tendonitis in his elbow. He had staph infection. He was hospitalized. He had the flu. He stubbed his toe. He had a hangnail. So I think Ankalaev should get a trilogy, but let him win one fight. I have no problem with that. Do Pereira versus Ulberg. Let Ankalaev win one fight in the meantime, maybe against Jiří. and then we could see it ran back. It's never getting ran back ever. So it is what it is. Pereira gets it done. Good performance. And honestly, he had to come in under a lot of pressure. He lost this fight, got dominated in the previous fight, and he came out super aggressive. He said, you know what, I may lose this fight, but I'm not going to lose it on my back foot. Pereira fights the best when he's moving forward, and he was able to go out there and find that kill shot against Ankalaev. And Ankalaev kind of embarrassed himself. I know a lot of people want me to say, Ankalaev KO'd and humiliated. I think it was the right hand had him badly dazed, but man, he didn't really move at all when he was on the ground. None of the shots were landing. He just covered up. And even though I hated the stoppage and it was anticlimactic and it was a bit early, you can't just sit there just blocking shots, doing nothing else, essentially waiting for the fight to be stopped. So a bit of an embarrassing performance from Ankalaev. Pereira is able to get this one back and beat all odds. Everyone's picking Ankalaev in this matchup. And I think this is Pereira's best win. I will say this. A lot of people are going to be like, Joey, eat your words. You know, everything you said about Pereira was an industry plant. Okay. Pereira was babied by the UFC and given opportunities. Pereira did duck Ankalaev for years. And then he also turned down this fight multiple times, admittedly, before finally settling on UFC 320. But it doesn't matter anymore because Pereira got it done. He was able to go out there and TKO Magomed Ankalaev and get the win at UFC 320. Great card overall. Really enjoyed the card. I mean, great performance from Pereira. Great performance from Merab. And honestly, I don't think it's a total loss for Ankalaev, even though he's not getting the trilogy. If Pereira goes up to heavyweight, which he is soon, I think he is. I think he is in his next fight against John Jones. Ankalaev's right back in the mix. Light heavyweight isn't that stacked. You essentially have Jiří, Khalil, Olberg, and Ankalaev. Mirzakhanov's making his way up. So it's not a total loss. He loses the belt, but I still think the division is kind of open for him if Pereira leaves to heavyweight, which I believe he will. Let me know what you guys thought of the card down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.